I'm back. I know a lot of you don't like to read, even though this is a short blog post. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick video on public domain and what that means. There was a post the other day in one of the groups on Facebook called Etsy Passive Income, run by Alicia Khan, that asked about public domain. Alicia was kind enough to say, "Hey Tanya, what do you think about this?" And I realized, I've not touched on public domain. This is actually a good subject to discuss because we're also, well, at least we all should be looking at copyright and trademark, and public domain is a term used regarding copyright itself. It can tie to trademark, but there are two different things, two different processes. We're going to talk about public domain today. I'm not going to lie to you. I did some of my research on Wikipedia. I got that page pulled up right now. And just gave some really quick bullet points about public domain itself. And to give you guys the definition that was pulled up is it's basically the state of belonging or being available to the public and is not subject to copyright. Now, a lot of these things in the public domain have to do with books, music, movies, things of that nature. Something that's tangible, something that you can, actually put your hands on. And the question has been come up if certain literary works are infringing on trademark and copyright, which is very important. So I just kind of wanted to talk about this today. I do have some other posts on trademark and copyright that I did put in the blog. I'll put it in the description as well. Keep in mind, until I hit a certain subscription level, they won't be clickable links, but eventually they will be. So again, I talked about it being like stories and movies and music. And interestingly enough, anything in the United States that is a book published before 1924 is in the public domain. Now, I know a lot of our designs are newer school, so we're geared more towards newer things, but some of the quotes in those older publications are actually really cool, and you can use those in your designs as long as they do not have a trademark tied to them. And you can learn about trademark in some of my other posts and how to search for those. So we, in our space as graphic designers, would be creating what you call derivative works, which is not an exact replica of the original work, but something that is created based off of inspiration from the public domain topic. So there's a few points on how something is in the public domain, and basically if the copyright has expired, anything produced by the federal government is in the public domain. The work is not in fixed tangible form. It does not include an appropriate copyright notice prior to March 1st, 1989, and it does not have sufficient originality. This last point is interesting because that kind of ties back to trademark. Technically speaking, you're only supposed to trademark something if it is speaking towards your brand. So when you think of things like Ziploc, your brain immediately is going to go to those little plastic bags. So you could not create a little plastic bag and put anything Ziploc related on it. I did put a link in here. Goodreads has actually really long list of public domain books. You can see a lot of these are older, and a lot of them are plays and things of that nature. But I mean, you can get into some really clever classic quotes. Clever classic quotes. That's an alliteration, I think. And it's, something that you just want to take a look at. And I mean, you can go ahead and search for yourself. So like the person who asked the question in the group the other day asked specifically about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So I was like, well, I know it's old school. I know that it's kind of like a fairy tale. It's been around for a long time, but I was interested. So I wanted to do the research to not only educate myself, but also provide the answer to the question that this person had. So I went ahead and searched Goldilocks and the Three Bears copyright. Okay. And came up with a few things and some really weird stuff about did the three bears eat Goldilocks and what's the moral of the story and all this. And I'm like, this is telling me nothing. So I was like, okay, that's not gonna help me. Let me see what comes up with public domain. And sure enough, it talks about here you can see the copyright status is public domain in the USA. So that's another thing you need to be careful about. You might have something that was created in the UK, for example, that may not necessarily be public domain in the United States. So you want to make sure that you are finding the right information on here. And some websites will go ahead and list out all this stuff, and I did take a look at some of these things. But basically, because it's public domain, you can use quotes and things of that nature out of the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So this kind of posed an interesting thing for me because I was always seeing these. You guys probably are familiar with the quote, though she be but little, she is fierce. I'm a big theater nerd, and that quote actually came from Shakespeare's play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And it became viral not too long ago. And I remember when I first started designing, I refused to post any digital products with that quote on it. And actually, when you go and look and you type in Midsummer, and you can see I already searched for this, Night's Dream public domain, you can see that this is an actual open source work and all texts are public domain. And that makes sense because, I mean, this was published a long ass time ago anyway. And anything that's public domain, you can actually have the ability to get for free. You shouldn't have to pay for because it is public domain. So you can use quotes from certain plays in your graphics, and it's not an issue because it is public domain. But I do urge you to go ahead and check tests just in case, because there could be, and I'll go ahead and search for this quote, but there could be a character mark for it, though she be but little. And there isn't anything that comes up. She is fierce. So there actually are some registered trademarks. She is fierce! ! So you want to make sure that it's not infringing on any of that. And there is a class 25. It is a standard character mark. And somebody had registered that a little while ago. And it looks like, and this is related to an online community for motivation, is registered to the same person. So you might want to tread carefully on this one because she is fierce! Is. I don't think technically speaking they can go after you if you have this entire quote in here, but if you just separated she is fierce from everything else, technically the trademark registration holder could give you a cease and desist and say, yeah, that ain't gonna fly. So music also falls into this. It's not as commonplace as books and things like that. Same thing for movies, and most of the movies are, old school movies. And you can kind of go ahead and type these searches into Google, and you can get certain lists of things like that, but you also want to fact check everything because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you use something and it's not right. So go ahead and give this a quick read or watch the video. I'm going to post it at the top of this blog post anyhow. And hopefully, like I said, you've got something from this. This link is right in the blog post, so you can go ahead and check that out and see what's in there. I've actually pulled some quotes from some of these stories as I go through and add them to an Excel spreadsheet where I can pull them from to create works of art. And like I said, hopefully that answers your question on public domain. I hope that you guys have a great night, and if you're liking these videos, please click subscribe below. You'll get updates on new things that come through. whether that's tutorials, information you need to know while you're designing your work, and things of that nature. And if there's something that you want to see, please reach out to me. You can post a comment below on this video. You can throw a comment on the blog. You can send me an email. Whatever is easiest for you. I'll have a link to my Facebook group too, and I always post my most recent blog posts and everything like that up on there, as well as different free designs and things of that nature. So, yeah, like I said, anything that you guys need, I am here to help you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be safe doing it. And if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. I hope you have a great night. Bye.